It was a quiet Thursday afternoon. My partner, Aaron, was away on a business trip, and I was enjoying the rare silence in our home. The dog was asleep, my tea was still warm, and I was curled up in my reading nook when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Curious but cautious, I opened the door just slightly, and there she was, a woman, maybe in her late 20s, wearing a soft beige coat, clutching her phone like it was an anchor. "Hi, I'm sorry to show up like this," she began, her voice trembling, "but I think we need to talk about Aaron." My heart stuttered. She introduced herself as Maya, a colleague of Aaron's. My first thought was concern. Maybe there had been an accident? But her eyes told another story. She wasn't here for bad news. She was here for truth. She asked if we could talk inside. Against my instincts, I let her in. "Once seated," she said, "I've been seeing Aaron for almost 8 months. I didn't know about you until recently. He told me he was separated." I was frozen. I stared at her, unable to process what I was hearing. She pulled out her phone, showing texts, selfies of them together, some in hotel rooms I recognized from his expense reports. My chest tightened. It was all real. Maya wasn't angry. She was heartbroken. And oddly, so was I. For both of us, we weren't enemies. We were two women betrayed by the same man. She confessed that their relationship had started emotionally. Late night work calls turned into hour-long personal chats. He'd shared his frustrations about our marriage, painting himself as a lonely, misunderstood man. She offered comfort. That comfort evolved. When she found out he was still living with me, she confronted him, and he deflected, saying we were practically over. But she wasn't convinced. That's why she came. The rest of that day was a blur. When Aaron returned the next night, I didn't yell. I didn't throw things. I simply told him. Maya came by. His face lost all color. He didn't even deny it. In the weeks that followed, we unraveled. I chose to step away, not just because of the affair, but because I no longer recognized the man I thought I loved. He had built an entire emotional world with someone else while still sharing a bed with me. Emotional infidelity is often overlooked or underestimated compared to physical affairs, but its impact can be just as profound and damaging to relationships. Unlike physical infidelity, which involves a tangible breach of trust through intimate acts, emotional infidelity revolves around the formation of a deep emotional connection outside the primary partnership. This bond is usually built through intimate conversations, shared vulnerabilities, and mutual support, creating a sense of closeness that rivals or even surpasses that within the committed relationship. Emotional infidelity often develops slowly and subtly, making it difficult to detect or even admit, both by the person involved and their partner. It begins with seemingly innocent interactions, a trusted colleague, a longtime friend, or someone who listens without judgment. Over time, this connection grows into a secret world, one filled with feelings that were once reserved solely for the partner. The complexity of emotional infidelity lies in its ambiguous nature. It blurs the lines between friendship and betrayal, making it hard to define when a connection crosses the boundary into infidelity. Partners may feel hurt and confused, wondering whether emotional closeness alone constitutes cheating. The emotional attachment can trigger feelings of jealousy, inadequacy, and mistrust, because it represents a shift of intimacy and attention away from the relationship. For the person involved in the emotional affair, there can be guilt and conflict as they wrestle with their feelings of loyalty toward their partner versus the comfort and excitement found in the new emotional connection. This inner turmoil often leads to secrecy and lies, which deepen the wound when discovered. Many relationships struggle with emotional infidelity because it taps into fundamental human needs, to be seen, heard, and understood. When these needs aren't fully met in a partnership, individuals may seek them elsewhere, without necessarily intending to betray their partner. The emotional affair can begin as a form of escape from relationship problems, loneliness, lack of communication, or unmet emotional needs, and evolve into something more complicated. The person involved might justify their actions by convincing themselves that the connection is harmless, or that it will never cross into physical territory. However, emotional infidelity can be a slippery slope, as emotional intimacy often leads to increased vulnerability and attachment, which may eventually result in physical intimacy. In real-life cases, emotional infidelity has led to devastating consequences for couples. For instance, spouses have described discovering texts and emails filled with heartfelt confessions and daily updates meant only for the other person. These messages reveal an emotional intimacy and shared understanding that partners often crave but feel they are missing in their marriage. The shock of realizing that their loved one has built a private emotional world with someone else often triggers a profound sense of betrayal. Unlike physical affairs, which can sometimes be dismissed as a momentary lapse in judgment, emotional affairs suggest an ongoing, sustained shift in loyalty and affection. The emotional consequences for both parties can be intense and long-lasting. The betrayed partner may experience grief akin to losing a loved one, as the emotional bond they thought was exclusive is shattered. They may also face self-doubt and insecurity, questioning their worth and what went wrong in the relationship. On the other side, the person involved in the emotional affair might feel trapped between two worlds, dealing with guilt, confusion, and a desire to maintain both connections. This duality creates a complex emotional landscape, fraught with tension and unresolved feelings. Emotional infidelity challenges the fundamental expectations of trust and honesty in a relationship. Even without physical contact, hiding feelings, conversations, or the existence of an emotional bond is a breach of the implicit promise of exclusivity in a committed partnership. This secrecy often results in an erosion of trust that can be more difficult to rebuild than after physical infidelity. Emotional affairs can leave couples feeling disconnected and vulnerable, as the lines between friendship, love, and betrayal become dangerously blurred. In many therapeutic settings, couples who face emotional infidelity report that acknowledging the emotional aspect of betrayal is crucial to healing. Recognizing that emotional affairs are not lesser forms of cheating helps partners understand the pain and complexity involved. It opens the door to honest conversations about unmet needs, boundaries, and the importance of emotional safety within the relationship. For some couples, this painful awareness becomes a turning point, prompting deeper communication and renewed commitment. For others, it reveals irreparable damage, leading to separation. Emotional infidelity exposes the fragile nature of emotional bonds in relationships and highlights how deeply people crave connection and validation. It underscores the need for vigilance, open communication, and emotional transparency to protect the intimacy couples build over time. Ignoring or minimizing emotional infidelity can allow it to quietly undermine a relationship, making it all the more destructive when it finally comes to light. Secrets have a way of revealing themselves at the most unexpected moments, often arriving unannounced and unraveling carefully constructed facades in an instant. In relationships, hidden truths, whether they are lies, omissions, or betrayals, don't usually come with warning signs. Instead, they often manifest suddenly, like an unexpected visitor at the door, forcing individuals to confront realities they were either unaware of or unwilling to face. The arrival of such secrets can shatter the illusion of security and trust that couples build over time. This element of surprise not only intensifies the emotional impact, but also complicates the process of dealing with the fallout. When a secret steps into the light uninvited, the reaction is often a turbulent mix of shock, confusion, anger, and heartbreak, leaving little room for calm or rational processing. One of the most challenging aspects of secrets in relationships is their ability to grow quietly in the background, sometimes for months or even years. People tend to guard their private thoughts, desires, and actions carefully, especially when those things conflict with the image of honesty and loyalty they wish to project. This discretion creates a dual life, one lived openly with a partner and another lived in secrecy. When these concealed parts collide with reality, through a surprise confrontation, an unexpected visitor, or accidental discovery, the impact is often devastating because the secrecy has given the betrayer time to become accustomed to their double life. This unanticipated revelation forces both parties to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about their relationship. The metaphor of an unexpected visitor is particularly apt in these scenarios because it captures the sense of intrusion and disruption that secrets impose. Just as one wouldn't expect a stranger to show up on their doorstep without warning, no partner expects to have their world upended by a sudden disclosure of infidelity or betrayal. The shock is amplified by the context, the safe, private space of one's home, which usually symbolizes trust, intimacy, and security. When a secret appears in this intimate space, it breaks down those boundaries, making the invasion feel personal and invasive. The literal arrival of someone who embodies the secret, the other person in an affair, for example, turns abstract suspicions into undeniable reality, leaving no room for denial or avoidance. The emotional complexity of this unexpected encounter goes far beyond just anger or sadness. For the person blindsided by the secret's arrival, it often triggers a profound identity crisis. Questions flood the mind. How could I not see this? What does this say about my judgment or my worth? Did they ever really love me? These feelings can quickly spiral into self-doubt and despair. Simultaneously, there is the overwhelming sense of betrayal, not just by the partner who kept the secret, but sometimes by oneself for being unaware. The unexpected visitor becomes a symbol of everything hidden and broken, demanding attention and forcing painful conversations. For the partner who has kept the secret, the sudden appearance of the truth often brings a crushing weight of guilt and fear. They must face the consequences of their choices in real time, often without the chance to prepare themselves emotionally or mentally. The unexpected confrontation can lead to defensive behavior, attempts at justification, or a complete breakdown. The chaos that ensues makes reconciliation or resolution far more difficult because it's clouded by raw emotions and a lack of readiness. Secrets that arrive uninvited do not only expose infidelity, but also reveal deeper, often unspoken issues within the relationship. They shine a harsh light on communication gaps, unmet needs, and unresolved conflicts that may have paved the way for betrayal. The surprise element forces couples to address not only the act of infidelity, but also the underlying dysfunction that allowed it to fester unnoticed. It forces a reckoning with uncomfortable truths that have been buried beneath the surface. In real-life scenarios, many couples recount moments where an unexpected visitor, whether a person or a sudden discovery, acted as the catalyst that brought years of hidden pain into the open. This disruption, while painful, can paradoxically create an opportunity for honesty and healing. The rawness of the moment makes it impossible to return to old patterns of denial or avoidance. Instead, it demands a confrontation with reality, forcing both partners to choose whether to rebuild on new terms or part ways. The arrival of secrets unannounced is a reminder that no relationship is immune to hidden complexities. Trust is a fragile construct, easily undermined by what lies beneath the surface. The emotional turbulence caused by these surprises often exposes the true depth of connection between partners, how resilient or fragile it is. The unexpected nature of such revelations also means there is no right time to deal with infidelity or betrayal. It can strike at any moment, turning an ordinary day into a life-changing event. Understanding that secrets have this unpredictable way of manifesting underscores the importance of transparency and communication in relationships. When emotional needs and conflicts are openly discussed, the space for destructive secrets shrinks. However, when issues are swept under the rug, they can accumulate silently until something or someone shows up to expose them. The impact of an unexpected visitor, therefore, is not just about the secret itself, but about the entire hidden emotional landscape it unveils.